Hello everyone and welcome to another gameplay analysis video for Jojo Star Battle. Today we're looking at Giorno vs Koichi and Kakyoin vs Mista, which, as you may notice, are not in the same video. These two were both requested, so I thought I'd just do both of them. So they're halfway through, there'll be a bit where I have to like minimize the video and then load the other one. So that might be a bit annoying visually, so I apologize for that. Also, because I forgot to mention, obviously I'll have to take a break when the group G stuff comes out, because I'll be translating the subs for PV6. But once I'm done with that, I'll look at Pucci vs. So yeah. The bounce trap lasted for quite a while there. Yeah, it seems like you can put it behind the enemy character if they're right in front of you. You probably don't want to be doing it if they were that close to you anyway, even if you could put it right underneath them, because it's not exactly that fast of a move. But yeah, it did last for quite a while, which is pretty cool. Especially since you can use it to double jump and such. So yeah, it lasting for a while gives you a lot more options than if it didn't last long. So this bit here, he does his burst in the air, which goes to show that the whole launch him and then he won't be able to burst thing doesn't apply to Koichi. Diavolo still hasn't done his in the air, obviously. I don't think he'll be able to do his in the air, really. But yeah, Koichi does do his there. If you can bait it and punish it, it's going to be the same if he's on the air or the ground. It might actually be a bit easier if he's in the air, because as you saw, Koichi fell, but Echo Zack 3 stayed where he activated it. So it might be easier to get the punish in with Echo Zack 3 higher up in the air than if it was on the ground. But yeah, there's still not much we can say about it as of yet. The damage he receives is so small and inconsequential compared to the fact that it's only like 1/8 of a bar for a burst. So I really do hope you can punish it pretty easily if you bait it. So this move, the one that looked kind of like an overhead, SHIT as it's called, because you're not allowed to swear, it applies the freeze effect to Giorno, as you can see. So Koichi does have a meterless way to apply the freeze. I assume he only has that special when he's in stand-on mode, for obvious reasons. So, but yeah, it's still a good option. It means that you can pretty easily get it onto them, which is pretty important if it's that status is a big part of Koichi's gameplay. So the 3 freeze effect lasted for quite a while there, considering it wasn't meterless. It was meterless, rather. So this taunt is kind of controversial along with Mista's one, because it goes for ages. He's still taunting right now, and only then does he stop. So if he hasn't recovered, there's the possibility the move has actually recovered by that point, and because the air hasn't done any inputs, he's still just doing it, like I said with Mista. But if he hasn't recovered and he's still actually in the taunt and you can hit him, then that one went for ages. Like, there's no way you'd be able to taunt anyone with Koichi, because Giorno was up, he had years to get in. Yeah, it just didn't seem like a viable option at all. There's no way in hell, even if you were full screen, that you wouldn't be able to punish that. You'd easily be able to make it full screen and then hit him. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, until we have further evidence that he hasn't recovered, I'm still gonna go with the he has recovered and it's just like an idle animation. Because it does seem weird to make one character's taunt that long. So first of all, The jump in that Koichi did, it looked like the normal he did in the air with Echo's Act 2, I think it was. It looked like it increased his momentum downwards. That's just me though. It could just be my eyes playing tricks on me. But the main reason I bought, well, if it does move down, then it's kind of like a semi-dive kick thing, and that's really cool. And yeah, should be a good and normal. But the main reason I paused here is that this move name here is Yurusanaizo, or I Won't Forgive You, the crumple move he has. But he's bouncing. So this name obviously isn't related to the bouncing at all, because it's a different move he has, which kind of implies that the bounce, you don't get to decide if you bounce or not. If you land on that, you're bouncing. Which makes putting the traps out kind of risky, because even if your jump would have been a safe jump beforehand, if you're now bouncing off this thing, he's back up here all the way up in the air, like his maximum jump height again. And Giorno, as you're about to see, gets a free DP. So yeah, that makes it kind of interesting that the trap is also potentially bad for you. But yeah, I'm not sure how that'll play out now. There is the possibility that you just like tap up and the AI also happened to do a move just as it started and that didn't work for some reason, but it did really look like you don't get a choice whether or not you bounce. That Yurusanaizo, by the way, move. That move looks terrible on whiff. The Echo's Act 1 just kept going for quite some time. So that looks like a move you really don't want to risk using in footsies, even though it does crumple. That I thought was kind of amusing, because it did look like Giorno should have been pushed into the fireball, but unfortunately he wasn't. You could probably do that though, because it did go right over his head, the burning noise. So with a better timing, you probably could push them into the fire, but I don't see any real reason to do that, considering the move already knocks down on hit. So you're probably not getting that much of a combo off it, and it's probably still unsafe on block anyway. So yeah, could be neat for gimmicks, I guess. Gimmicks are always good if your opponent doesn't know about them. This bit shows that the Muda follow-up of the re-DP can actually whiff depending on the angle you DP'd them at, so it's not a guarantee you're going to get that knockdown and set up possibility afterwards, which is kind of neat. Means that you're going to have to be tighter on your combos if you do that anti-air Muda into put some cancel on your combo as well. Yeah, you're probably going to have to wait for Koichi to fall a bit before you do the DP, with him being so small. Because, yeah, as you saw, he ended up on the other side of Jono and he didn't get the full ender, I guess. Okay. I probably should have paused, but yeah, the video ended pretty soon afterwards anyway. Giorno did his stunning normal as well, and Echo's 3 free, so I still don't really understand why what the crouch actually forces you to do. It's probably just the hitbox thing. Like, in some fighting games, characters are actually slightly wider while they're crouching. Or they take more damage in some fighting games. In some fighting games, they take less damage when they're crouching compared to standing, but most of those ones are like Tekken and stuff, where the overheads are the easier to hit option than the lows. So, yeah. Yeah, I still don't really understand the implications of it. I also don't get the tree. I still didn't see anything that made sense with the tree in this match. So, I went through all of Jono's matches, we didn't get any sensical tree stuff, so it's a bit disappointing. Hope Jono wins this comeback slot so I can see the tree and see what it actually does. Or I could just wait for the game to come out and try myself. Yeah, Koichi looks like he has a lot of really interesting options, considering his moveset with stand on and stand off differentiate is so, the differences are so big. He's got these neat traps. He's got some good setup fireball thingies. He's got a really long range auto if you wanted to use that for some reason at maximum range. It seems a bit unsafe when you could just sidestep and run in, but yeah. And he's got the 3 freeze, which is pretty unique. Though yeah, as I said, I don't really know what it does. So, Yeah, Koichi seems like he'll be a lot of fun to play with all his fun options. Um, I still don't really have anything more to say about Giorno compared to what I said last time about him, which is I'm not really sure how the devs want him to play out, but he does have resolve mode, which is good. Resolve mode seems way better than rumbling mode, so or preparedness mode, or whatever you want to call resolve mode. It's just that you know the whole point of part 5 thing, where depending on the situation, the translation was different, I guess. So yeah, now I have to load the other video. Oh my god, I'm panicking. Can't remember where open is. Quick open file. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah, something important to note here that has actually seen before, but I didn't bother commenting on it for some reason, is that when the characters are like maximum distance apart from each other, which is pretty long, like Mista's in one corner and Kakyoin's almost in another corner, the screen kind of tilts, possibly because otherwise you wouldn't be able to fit everything on screen, with how long the stages are. Well, with how long you can get apart from each other. Like this is a massive distance. Normally you can't get that far apart in a fighting game. So yeah, I don't mind the screen tilt at this distance. You can. It's kind of bad for the two-player, or whoever happens to be on that side. But you can still see what's going on. Like you don't need to know proper spacing at this distance. You can see the shadows to judge how far away you are from the projectiles. So still it shouldn't be too bad of it of a camera angle. Um, you still probably want to be a bit closer though, so you don't have to deal with it, because I can imagine it would get a bit annoying. But yeah, the shadows make it so the screen tilt doesn't make it that difference is the distance is too hard to work out. So yeah, Mista's been making this matchup look really, really bad for him here at this point, because Kakyoin can put up the traps and send out the Emerald Splashes and all of those block bullets, and make it really easy for Kakyoin to just zone. So this beginning of the match made me a bit skeptical as to how Mista would be able to beat Kakyoin. I was also a bit skeptical for Warhol Horse, but the video made me a bit happier for Mista for not for Holt. So yeah, as you saw, that bullet there took out the entire bottom row of emeralds. So it does look like there are different factors going into projectile durability than just hits. So yeah, as you saw, goes right through, and then the Sex Pistols hits continue to hit Kakyoin. It uses up the first hit on the bottom row emerald, and then the rest hits Kakyoin, which means if you can sidestep one or two sets of emerald splashes and get all the Sex Pistols into a bullet, everything should be dandy for you. That upward curving bullet looks like it's pretty neat because of I assume it's just the angle, the 45-degree angle bullet that he shoots, but with Sex Pistols on it, so it goes in. But it does look really good because it covers this perfect angle for anti-airing and still hits them. It's probably less useful in Mista versus Rushdown character matchups because if they're more likely to just run in when they see that bullet. But in Zona versus Zona, where the options are kind of throw more projectiles or jump over their projectiles, it seems pretty useful. Not to say that it wouldn't be useful versus Rushdown, like it's still a bullet that would anti-air anywhere, which is good, but it's more risky, is what I meant to say. I really like that great hit attack, I just want to say. I imagine Asami Amai had an amazing time voicing Sex Pistols for that great hit attack, but Kakyoin's AI totally threw it there. There was no reason he had to get hit by that. yeah, it's unfortunate we didn't get to see that one, that great hoot attack, because it is the full 20-meter radius web, which is really cool. But yeah, I just wanted to say first of all with Mista's great heat attack, and Kakyoin's as well actually, is that the projectiles on both of them are kind of slow. So you probably couldn't use them to win a projectile war. Because your opponent would just recover in time and block, and you spent 2 bars to achieve nothing that your regular projectile wouldn't. Maybe if you're this kind of distance, but further apart than this, there's no way you could do it. And even at this distance, you'd need to predict their projectile. You couldn't do it on reaction, I don't think. Mista maybe, but Kakyoin's Emerald Splash is too slow from that great heat attack. So yeah, it's not like Wham's Sandstorm, which moved pretty fast. Yeah, the movement is a big part of determining how useful a super is at being anti-projectile. I feel at least. So yeah, their Kakyoin got hit by bullets that were bounced off Sex Pistols around the Emerald Splash. So they traded projectiles, which is the other way I talked about how Whole Horse and Mista would be able to fight against multi-projectile guys. So Mista has 2 options to beat Emerald Splashes and presumably other multi-projectiles, so he looks like he's pretty okay. But Whole Horse's bullet charging thing takes way longer than Mista's, so I'm still a bit scared for him. Maybe he's meant to be more rushed down now in this game. So yeah, those bullets there really did look like they curved after Kakyoin's sidestep, which is really good for Mista. Not being able to sidestep his projectiles makes him a much better zoner in this game than he would otherwise be. Yeah, I really like how Mista looks. He's definitely not one of my most favorite of the Part 5 guys, as I've said, but he just looks so cool in this game with his really unique bullet stuff. I mean, even in a 2D game, there's only really one other character that's done kind of shooting at your own things, and then bouncing them off, and that's Mew and BlazBlue. And even then, hers functions differently to how Mista's would. So even in a 2D game, he'd be pretty unique. But in a 3D game, this kind of zoner is just completely off the wall, which is really cool. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to trying him out. Some people, I've noticed comments on websites that won't be named about how Mista shouldn't be able to move around to put out Sex Pistols like that. But really, all you need to do is kind of put one down and then sidestep, and then you can shoot into the foreground and get around projectiles like this, which is already really useful. And if you do actually get any distance to actually put Sex Pistols up at different points, pretty rapidly different points, then that makes the tool way more useful. Kakyoin's traps didn't really do anything in this match apart from block projectiles, which is already pretty useful in a matchup like this, but still haven't really seen any offensive application of them, really. I think they only get triggered once, and they do seem a bit hard to trigger. Like, yeah, I thought they would trigger when you just got close to them rather than when you actually touched them, but because having to actually touch it makes it a bit less useful. Because people aren't just going to run into it, obviously. So, yeah, we'll have to see how useful the traps actually are when the game comes out, because the AI probably aren't going to use them in a way that really works. Though I do imagine if anyone's just going to run into the traps, it'll be the AI. So yeah, thanks for watching. Yeah, I don't know how long it'll take to get the subs for PV6 out. It depends on what kind of text on screen has to be done, and whether or not there's a fire going on at the time. Fires really do kind of interfere with things when they're big enough for people to be dying. Hopefully there won't be any fires though. I'd rather for no fires to be involved. But yeah, and so Pucci versus Dio from part 1 will be done after that, and both of their matches with the comeback guy will be done after that. Yeah, everyone look forward to that. Thanks for watching. Any requests in the comments as before, and subscribe if you haven't already.